Welcome everyone. In this video, I will briefly talk about why the act of sitting for prolonged periods of time is harmful to your health. I'll also suggest solutions which we can easily implement in our lifestyle. Now I realize the irony of this situation. You might be sitting while watching this video, but no worries, look at what I'm doing. I'm also sitting on a chair. Our modern lifestyles revolve around comfort and convenience. Almost all of our innovations are based on how to make human life more comfortable. The way we spend our time is actually designed for sitting. As a college student, I spend about 6 to 8 hours or more per day sitting on my butt. And on average, an American adult spends about 9 to 10 hours a day sitting. We spend about 90% of our time indoors, and sitting in combination with living indoors for most of the life has profound implications for health. Now, the development of technology has greatly reduced our need for physical activity. Just think about it. Just a generation ago, ordering things online would have been not even thought of, but now we can click a button and order whatever we want just with the click of a button. Now let's go back in time. Think about the fact that our bodies are not really designed to be sitting for such a long period of time. Our ancestors were actually hunter-gatherers who had to move around just to hunt and forage food. They had to move around to survive, basically. And in fact, many of the indigenous people, even today, practice this thing called persistent hunt. In this hunt, it involves outrunning an animal until the animal is exhausted. So basically, people track the animal down, run behind it, and only catch it when the animal is exhausted or not able to run anymore. So for example, the Kalahari Bushmen or the San people, they chase an antelope and they run for about 5 hours, covering a distance about 22 miles in the heat of where temperatures reach about 108 degrees Fahrenheit, and they run in this heat for 5 hours persistently. Now you might think it's impossible to achieve such a thing, running for 5 hours in such hot weather continuously. It's really hard, but that's what we've evolved to become. The human design actually allows us to accomplish such an amazing feat. In a way, our excessive sedentary behavior has reduced our biological potential as a species. So since I'm going to be shitting on sitting in this video, I'm going to be standing and talking to you about what the health effects of sitting really are. Now, all of the information I'm going to present from now is derived from peer-reviewed literature, and all of the links and references can be found below in the description, so please check them out. So let's explore what too much sitting really does to our bodies. A study published by Matthews and colleagues actually found that sitting is positively associated with cardiovascular disease and many types of cancers. Both of these conditions, we know from our previous video, are the top 2 leading causes of deaths in the United States. So how exactly does sitting affect our bodies? Well, firstly, sitting for prolonged periods of time temporarily deactivates an enzyme called lipoprotein lipase. This is an enzyme which breaks down fats, and the production of this enzyme due to sitting decreases by about 90%. This leads to buildup of fat in our arteries and clogging of the arteries, which increases the risk of heart disease. It also leads to fat around our waist, and sitting obviously doesn't burn a lot of fat because you're not exercising your muscles. Prolonged sitting also lowers blood circulation in our bodies, and this negatively impacts most, if not all, internal organs in the body. So sitting reduces the circulation rate of your blood. Thirdly, your spine can be damaged by excessive sitting. I had this experience as a high school student. In my 11th and 12th grade, I was almost forced to sit for about 9 hours on a wooden bench, studying math, physics, and chemistry. So after sitting for 9 hours every day, I think by the end of 12th grade, my spine had gotten so bad that I couldn't walk temporarily. My lower back pain was so high, it pained badly, and I never want to repeat that kind of mistake again. So your posture has to be correct. If you're sitting while slouching and craning your neck forward, like something like this, or you're slouching and you crane your neck forward, that will negatively impact your posture and your spine. While sitting as it is, it applies pressure on your spine and it compresses. There are discs between the vertebrae, and these discs also compress, leading to a weaker back in general. When you sit, your glucose levels also increase. So sitting actually increases the risk of type 2 diabetes. Now, when you sit, the insulin resistance increases, so your pancreas is producing insulin, which is supposed to absorb the glucose or blood sugar from your bloodstream. But when you sit, the glucose levels keeps increasing, and then eventually it leads to high blood sugar levels. Lastly, sitting deforms the lungs a bit. So for example, if you're sitting, and try to imagine the lungs within me, and when you slouch, it kind of decreases the volume of the lungs, so the lung capacity is reduced. What this means is that when you breathe in more air while standing compared to sitting, because your lung volume is temporarily decreased. So how does this impact you? So here's a paradox. When you sit for work, you're most likely doing some work which needs high brain usage. You're doing some work which is technical, and you need your brain, you need to be focused. But when you sit for long periods of time, you reduce your oxygen levels and you reduce your blood circulation rate. The brain needs the highest amount of oxygen of all internal organs, and good circulation is necessary for the brain. So if you sit for too long, you will be less productive and less focused. And I've experienced this many times while sitting on that computer. So companies, actually, it's in their best interest to let people take breaks every 30 minutes or an hour, to take breaks from sitting. Because if you want to be productive, sitting is not going to help. So what I'm going to go through now are some solutions to the sitting disease. Honestly, they're very simple to implement in your lifestyle, but they need to be habits in order for you to follow them through. So firstly, walk for at least 40 minutes to an hour each day. It's really easy. It doesn't even have to be continuous. For example, some strategies I love are parking my car far away from my destination so I can walk to the place, or run if I'm late. Another similar strategy is walking with your colleagues to lunch, or even just taking rounds of the building you're in, like this office building, every hour or so. Just walk. And a goal I set for myself is about 7,000 to 10,000 steps per day. And you can track this using either a Fitbit watch or your phone. It's really easy. You get apps which track the number of steps you've walked. Standing up for every 30 minutes if you're sitting for work for 8 hours or 9 hours a day. If you're sitting, standing up every 30 minutes is crucial. Since we know that sitting for continuous periods of time is harmful, standing is beneficial. Standing even burns about 30% more calories than if you were sitting. So standing up, or even stretching a little bit, doing a jumping jack, it's useful. It helps. Okay. So third one is going for a hike or two per weekend. Hiking is a great way to connect with nature. It's a great way to relieve your stress. And hiking with friends, to me, it's always fun. And lastly, reduce the time you spent watching the TV. The TV is not called the idiot box for no reason. Instead of watching the TV, you can play a sport. You can play your favorite sport. Like my favorite sport is ping pong. And I know it's not as intensive as football, and some people don't even think it's a real sport. But ping pong does involve a lot of body movement, and I love it. I mean, ping pong makes me sweat too. So play your favorite sport each week, or at least have a target that I need to play the sport for this many hours per week. Personally, I try to spend at least 30 minutes to an hour playing ping pong with my friends, and I have a great group to work with. Lastly, just talk to your friends about this. Talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to your company bosses about the sitting epidemic. If people don't know, they won't act. And hopefully they will act if you let them know what sitting does to you. So I hope you appreciate how the human body is designed. We don't have 206 bones and about less than 1,000 muscles just to be inactive and sit all day. We are supposed to be moving. That's how we were. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and thank you so much for your support. I am no expert or doctor by any means. I'm just a guy who likes learning new things. So if you have any feedback or criticism, please do comment it below. If you found this video worthwhile, then please subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much again for watching.